Curious about vegetables? Talk to Iswesid. Hello everyone, welcome to Around the VegTable. I'm Lisette Lacambra and your host for this program. In today's episode, we invited Dr. Edwin Saragi, I hope I pronounced that well, to share the climate-smart farming practices that they implemented in the Nusa Tenggara Timur, Indonesia project. It's a timely topic and discussion as we learn from the practical experiences on how to mitigate and adapt our techniques to address climate change. So a short intro, but I would love Sir Edwin to come in now, maybe to add spotlight. Yes, hello Dr. Edwin, good afternoon. So a short intro for Dr. Edwin. He was born in Simalungun, North Sumatra, Indonesia, and he currently leads the Technical Service and Knowledge Transfer Program at Yayasan Binatani Sejahtera, is the foundation, which is the extension arm of Iswesid Indonesia. He now has more than 35 years of rich and dynamic careers in the agriculture sector, in crop protection product companies, at international development organizations, and with seed companies. So Dr. Edwin also completed his bachelor, master's, and doctoral degrees from Bogor Agricultural University. He also attended a short course in horticulture development for emerging markets at Wageningen University and Research in 2016. He actually holds a lot of certificates in various development training and positions, himself with strength, discovery of maximizer, ideation, strategic thinking, learner traits, and embrace growth mindset. He and his family, his wife Herlina, daughter Reg, and sons Ray and Rick, wow, all are live in Bogor. He is also a fan of singing and he enjoys it, and he loves reading and gardening. So let's all welcome Dr. Edwin Saragi to our virtual floor. Thank you, Sir Edwin, for accepting our invitation. How are you? How are you feeling today? Which one of the mood meter did you select a while ago?
Yes, green, fresh, and crunchy lettuce. Yeah.
Yes, very good. And I think we need that for today as you start the session as well. And I'm excited to hear and learn from your presentation. So without further ado, I'm giving you the virtual floor, Dr. Edwin.
Good afternoon, colleagues and friends in Asia. Good morning, friends in Africa and Europe. Probably, if someone is watching, good night in the other side of the hemisphere. So yes, it's an honor. Yeah, it's a pleasure, Lisette and colleagues, for me to share information and experiences of what we have done in the past, actually, about the climate smart farming practices. Climate smart farming practices in Nusa Tenggara province, yeah, in Indonesia. So basically, what we have done in the past during our project partnership, and actually, these topics had been presented in a webinar a couple of years ago with Iswesid Indonesia and Windrock International. It's actually a kind of a semi-international webinar where we also try to address the climate change. If we see the title of this presentation, Climate Smart Farming Practices in coping with the climate change. So we need to be smart towards addressing the climate change, the what we call the erratic pattern that's happening in rainfall, in temperature, relative humidity. So basically, we start from what we understand about the climate smart agriculture or climate smart farming, and then I will go through the local context and what can be offered as a problem solving or a solution to the problems related to the agroclimatic conditions at the local level. And we will see how the farmers already benefit of what we have approached on the mitigating or adapting to the climate change situation. Well, referring to the few publications from the World Bank and the FAO about the climate smart agriculture, actually it is referring to the triple win, how to increase the productivity and income in the agriculture sector sustainably, and at the same time adapt to the climate change. Climate change is already happening, decades, 2 decades or 3 decades, and many experts already are showing the evidence. And it's the farmers in the agriculture sector that already being experienced the impact, the negative impact of the climate change factors. The agriculture sectors, specifically the farmers, are highly vulnerable to the change in the climate pattern. So at the same time, it's also a challenge that the agriculture sector also is a contributor to the greenhouse gas emission. So how this triple win can be achieved altogether, it's really a challenge. Then I go through the local context of due to the low productivity of vegetable crops in the province where we worked with our partners. At the same time, we also see that the production is low, and vegetable consumption is limited to the community. So the level of vegetable consumption is very low. In the Nusa Tenggara Timur province is well below the national average. Yeah. So you name it, cauliflower, cabbage, chili, tomato, salad. So the production is below the national average. And then the supply to that province as well for community consumption is also low. The local situation in the agroclimate condition in the 2 districts where we work in the province, Kupang and TTS districts. If you can see this graph of the rainfall pattern, 4 to 5 months is a dry month. So you can imagine the below picture is the peak of the dry season in the particular year. You can see the brown earth, brown grass, because of the driest month, especially in this month of August towards September is the driest month in the province. Even here in Jakarta, we can feel it's a very hot. Compared to last year, less rain now. So rain more unpredictable right now. And it's coupled with the soil and land characters. The soil also is a limiting factor for the supporting the growth of crops, including the vegetable crops. So yes, based on that local situation, we work with our partners, Court Aid, Anton Jurgen Fons from the Netherlands, and our local partner Karina, and also Isvesit Indonesia to work together to approach an integrated solution for the farmers, the community in that area. So we work in 51 villages. So we work on knowledge transfer, extension service, technical service. We also work on how the farmers can get access to limited water sources, how the farmers can have access to the rainfall information so they can adjust their cropping pattern, how they can also, with their effort together, can do the soil and conservation measures in their farmlands. So we focus on all those project interventions, But in this presentation, I would highlight the adaptation measures that the farmers were adopting. So started to the soil conservation technique and the water and management use, how to use the water wisely, being more efficient, and then adjust the crop calendar. So manage the cropping pattern. So hopefully with that approach, the farmers can increase yield, productivity to get a better income. At the same time, they will be able to adapt to the changes of the rainfall pattern or the climatic condition. So being said, adaptation, adjustment, and the affordability of their actions or technology to be adopted, and it can be done individually by farmers, but also can be approached at the group level. So one of the focus in that approach is how we, promote the adaptation measures to the farmers. So just to highlight, for instance, the soil and conservation techniques. Yeah. So make the ridges, make the raised beds, so make terraces. So part of the techniques that can reduce the surface runoff when the rain was coming, and then reduce the soil erosion. At the same time, increase the capacity of a soil surface to infiltrate the water. Yeah. And at the same time, also to make the farming activities practical and easy to do. You can see some pictures here, the raised beds, the ridges. Even they use the surface pebbles or stones as a ridge to in between the ridges of stones or a biomass, they put the crops. Here in this picture, you see the young tomato here growing quite good, yeah, and the terracing. And then also we promote the farmers to adopt the what we call the 3R: recharge, retention, and reuse. So part of the terracing, the raised bed, also facilitating the recharge of water into the soil subsurface, and also the make a hole in the nearby woods, or make a retention so the water is available for some time during the cropping season. And even they make this kind of container nearby their farm or nearby their house, even though it's a rainwater, they can use it for domestic purposes as well. So 3R: recharge, retention, and reuse. And then water sources somewhere at the edge of the wood or the forest, in their village, there's a small spring water that they can use for some time during the rainy season. It's good if the small spring water as well is still there, even though the prolonged drought is happening, but they still have some water to use. And support of the local government is also very important. In this slide, you can see the lower part of the picture is water ponds built by the public service from the government office. So this can be used by the community in the particular sub-village for their domestic and also for livestock, but also for farming practices usage. And then from the water sources, yeah, they can pipe with a pumping to a nearby water container next to the farm. You can see here, this farmer just use a couple of buckets to get the water and manually use the water to irrigate his crops. And this is use a kind of UV plastic, which is long, last for 3 to 5 years. And it's very good, and it's quite good in storing the water for the crop. And we also introduced the drip irrigation techniques. We provide the guidelines to the farmers, and with the support of our technical officer, the farmers can install a simple drip irrigation technique. Here you can see in this picture installing a drip irrigation set for this chili farming. You can see the here on top of this plastic mouse, the small chili grew quite well, and you see the ready to harvest chili. Yeah, it's good. And then we provide also to the farmers a couple of design with using water pump machine to get the water from the water well, and then put it into the to the reservoir, and from the reservoir flowing to the crops next to the sources. And also we offer design with a flowing with a gravitational force from a high position source from the reservoir of water spring, as long as there's a difference in elevation for the water to flow freely with the gravitational force to the farm. This design is made by our colleague, technical field officer, Tuche, Alice Winfred Tuche. I guess Tuche is here. So it's a credit to Tuche in making this simple design for the farmers can follow. Yeah. And more important with regard to the adaptation is how the crop management, the 1, 2, 3 of crop management, from training, sharing information by our staff, and then followed by the farmers based on the recommendation on cropping calendar, cropping pattern. Here you can see several options for the farmers to choose a crop rotation, sweet corn, then followed by kangkong, melon, and then yat long bean, followed by tomato, etc. So this is very important to adjust with the rainfall and the water availability. And then also our staff work together to provide the technical service and also in response to the market and use the water efficiently. And then even though we approach this for, let's say, 500 square meters or 1,000 square meters, and they can do it 3 times or even 4 times of crop in 1 year. So this is an economic of scale, basically the same as the economic of seasons. So they will get a good income along season by season, and in 1 year they can get, let's say, 3,000, 4,000, or 500,000 US dollar of income per year if they can follow this kind of recommendation. So this is another example of the crop rotation pattern and calendar management by the farmers. Yeah. And this is the data that we collected, just to highlight the revenue for melon 670, chili 590, tomato 630, bitter gourd 510, shallot 330 US dollar. And compared to the cost, revenue versus cost ratio, it's we can say the ratio is 2 or more than 2. So it's a very good return. And with regards to the drip irrigation setting, the cost is US dollar 300, and it can be depreciated for, let's say, 5 years. So the depreciation cost per season is 55. So it's all feasible in terms of the farmers that can afford this technology. Tangible revenue versus cost is good. Intangible, it's practical, efficient, and also be more adaptive to the water availability with regards to the challenge of climate change. So this is just to show you a video experience of farmers here in the province. Yeah.
Kami kasih hidup ini dulu. Ini irigasi tete. Kami airnya dari cek dampak datang baru di tampungan sini di Fiber. terus ke bedeng dengan irigasi tetes. Dari cekdam kami pakai dinamo. Dinamo datang ke fiber baru kami bagi ke terpal, ada bak. Yang ada irigasi tetes kami hanya kasih hidup konektornya saja, sedangkan yang tidak ada irigasi tetesnya kami pakai selang. Kalau ini yang irigasi tetes paling lama 30 menit kami buka. Itu kami biasa jam 7, mulai dari jam 7 pagi. Setengah 8 kami irigasi tetesnya kasih mati, sedangkan yang pakai selang kami lanjut. Yang untuk cabai saja 4 are, di sana ada yang tomat 3 are setengah, yang terung juga begitu. Keuntungannya membantu kami memudahkan untuk penyiraman tanaman. Merasa senang juga karena tidak terlalu capek.
Yes, so that's it. That's closing my presentation, Lisette. So yeah, hopefully I can get to the other room for entertainment right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Edwin. I thought that you will play with us. You will play for us. But thank you very much for sharing this successful project in Nusa Tenggara Timur on climate smart farming practices. I hope our participants have pick up these practices. If not yet implemented in their locations, maybe to introduce this one to their farmers. So I think we are ready to collect some questions. Oh, someone is asking us from the Facebook page, our participant from Facebook page from Sampunathan Jayakumaran. He asked Sir Edwin how to calculate on water requirement or duration for irrigation time of drip for specific vegetables.
Well, yeah, that's a very technical question that I might not be able to ask to answer precisely. But basically, it's how we can see. I mean, that's one approach, yeah, a very practical approach. So we advise the farmers to grab a handful of soil near the rooting area. Of it is something like field capacity. You know, the field capacity not so wet but not dry, but it's something that you can hold on, and it's contain kind of enough water. So if that's being done, then it's enough for the crop for a day or a couple of days until after you observe again. So it's below the field capacity. Field capacity is a terminology of soil science. Yeah, we learned that in the knowledge transfer. So field capacity kind of a good situation for the crop to absorb sufficient water for the growth. So in terms of to precise calculation, we have this FAO framework. Yeah, so we know about the evaporation, transpiration, the crop difference in water needs. Yeah, crop by crop is different. There's a tabulation of water needs, but in this regard, I would highlight the practical. I mean, the practical approach that farmers can have. This is the typical field capacity. You grab the handful of soil nearby the rooting area.
Thank you very much, Sir Edwin. And also, if you have the link from FAO, I think I also have that before. You can also share with us, Sir Edwin, and we can also post it on the Facebook page where some punatan can also refer on the crop-specific water requirements. So, but I also agree on what you mentioned that we need to check first before we apply. It depends also on the season, on the soil type of your area, and also the stage of your crop. Yeah, so that's a very good question, Sampunat, and thank you very much. Anyone who still has questions, or I would like to ask Sir Edwin, because you have a very good project, also techniques that I like the 3 R's actually. Are there any challenges in introducing these techniques with your farmers in Nusa?
Yeah, the challenge is the understanding about the climate change is at hand. Yeah, what's the climate change? Yeah, but luckily the farmers already experience. They already moving. I mean, delaying. I mean the planting of their crop. Yeah, they realize. Yeah, year after year they realize already. So to pinpoint that experience with the climate change evidence is also a challenge. Yeah, so they will need adjustment of their on-farm activity. They will need kind of adjustment on the water efficiency use. They need to be more keen to do the soil and water conservation techniques. Yeah, not to burn these biomass. Yeah, so you have this biomass from harvest, and there's a tendency to burn it. So don't burn. Use it as a compost. Make a mulch. Yeah, so it will add to the soil organic matter. So and make this water hole. Yeah. So oh, how can you advise us to make a water hole? No rain, but it's in anticipation. Next week or next 2 weeks, rain will come. But if you make this, so it will get, I mean, the water absorption to the. So it's kind of conservation. Is an economic, I mean, a benefit that you can see a week or months or even year after. So there's a challenge. The other challenge is how to recommend the crop rotation, Lisa. So it's not easy. So yeah, it's not
Actually,
easy.
I was also about to ask that one, Sir Edwin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a tendency of farmers after they get this good harvest from tomato, then they will do tomato again. But apparently, the next tomato is not good because the water is not that sufficient. But if we use the, let's say, what do you call it, short crop like cucumber, 45 days, or even kangkong, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, where the water is still available. So to change that cropping pattern is also a challenge. So the crop management calendar, is a kind of an integrated for the farmers to follow all through the year.
I think it's like the thing that you mentioned, like what I could get from what you've mentioned, the challenges is the change of mindset, no, of these farmers with this new concept. And it's I fully agree that it's very difficult to change mindset of the farmers if they are used to doing things that can still bring something for them. So that's a very good I think. Activity that you've mentioned also, and that's showing to them the data of the production, as we mentioned in KT, as to see is to believe. So that's very good point. There's also Veni. I'm very interested in the use of water on the landslide. If you look at it from the dry month, it is long. Is the availability of water sufficient if it is used during the dry month with the slope of the land on the previous slide? And is there a difference in results between the dry months and the wet months? And how to manage the water if they just rely on rain and there is no cost to make watering like the one in the video? Thank you. Thank you, Veni. There's a lot of questions, but I hope Sir Edwin pick up those questions, Sir Edwin.
I hope I can absorb of this all question. Yeah, Veni. Hi, Veni. So how are you, Veni? So yes, the key things in this adaptation, with regards to the climate smart farming practices, to start locally, and then it's even better if the farmers groups start all together in their learn all together in the same area. So not individual effort. So it's good. So if they make this kind of terracing or ridge or the water hole or even planting a new sapling of trees, they better do it together. They will get the benefits a year after. Yeah. So the soil conservation, something that you can experience, the farmers can see, not right away. It's not like you bite a chili, then you feel hot. No, it's a kind of you enjoy and then you will see the benefit after you do it for some time. So there is a cost, yeah, there is a cost to do it. And the cost, as also Lee said, yeah, you said the mindset. For the farmer to spend a cost for soil and water conservation, it's better to allocate it to buying fertilizers and seeds. Why should farmers apply cost for soil conservation techniques? Better to buy seeds or better to buy fertilizers. But if we do our effort good to the farmers, this is for the sustainability. This is for the long, duration of crop production. Yeah. And is there a difference in results between dry months and wet months? Yeah, of course. But if the farmers also follow the good cropping pattern, they will get a more or less a stable income, Fanny. Yeah. So that's what we suggest to farmers. Yeah. So the crop choices with regards to the cropping pattern and also the rainfall pattern, you can get rainfall information from the local station or from the local government. Yeah. You can discuss it with the farmers. What's the crops that are available? Tomato, then followed by short duration crops, and then if the water is good enough, then what to choose. So basically, this from the title, yeah, climate smart practices. So it's not the climate that is smart. The climate is changing. It's the people, it's the farmers who need to change the mindset and be smart.
I like your answers doing that. It's not just the technique that should be smart. It's also the farmers that needs to be smart. In connection to the question and the one that you shared before in the challenges, another question from Palm in connection with the crop rotation, because you mentioned that there's also like a challenge for the farmers to follow this crop calendar. How did you convince the farmers to do the crop rotation if the main crop is on high demand, like the tomato that you mentioned? Or what really made you successful in introducing this crop calendar to these farmers?
It's very important for us to tap and share the success stories. Yeah. In this presentation, I did not present the failure. Yeah, there is failure. There is failure, but we articulate on the success that we got with the farmers. How to convince? It's through the demonstration plot. Yeah. So we make a good video like that one I presented earlier. The video, the local materials, guidelines. Yeah. So and then Alice Winfried, the Tuche, our technical field officer, and the team during the project, they did a radio broadcasting back then, yeah, and then they put on Facebook, and then put these success farmers to testify what she already obtained, yeah, in his and her farming business, yeah. So yeah, it's a continuous work actually. My YBTS colleague is here, even not only in Nusa Tenggara Timur Province. You have Arga here, we have Ganang, I guess Arga and Ganang is here. They have key farmers in Papua, in Molucca, adopting, applying the techniques that we recommended. Either they make this a simple water container or using the drip irrigation to make the water available for their crops.
So two things you mentioned: good demo, good demo to showcase the crop rotation, and also having these farmers, your key farmers, as influencer, no, to sharing their stories to other farmers. So that's really a good way to also attract other farmers to practice or adapt those techniques. Thank you very much, Sir Edwin. I like the idea of that. There's one slide that you presented, Sir Edwin, on when you created these techniques or this project. Also, you made sure that all the techniques are in considered the local condition and the potency, and you made it at the end like it should be simple, appropriate, affordable, and workable by the farmers. Are these also being done or defined or maybe planned with the farmers in the community when you started in that project? How were you able to identify those techniques that you need to introduce in the area?
Well, yes, we for sure the techniques must be simple and practical and affordable. Yeah. So if you start from using this plastic water container, it's a simple one. Yeah? And then with the drip irrigation, either with flowing freely and also with the pumping machine. We also, use the calculation of cost of production. So in the slide, yeah, I put the total cost, yeah, which is good for 5 years. Yeah, the techniques. And then it can be depreciated into 5 years. Let's say just use 2 seasons a year. So actually the cost is, in calculation of a good proposition for the farmers. And then we also like good seeds, yeah, good and high quality seeds and good fertilizers. So in the nearby agri shops, it should be available. Yeah. So we also talk with the local kiosks, agri kiosks. So they should, and also we invite the local kiosk to attend the demo plots. He will be able to know what to provide in his store. Yeah. So that's also good. So basically, a combination of a good demo plot, yeah, seeing is believing, look at the cost, and it's practical, can be done. Whatever you will apply the drip irrigation technique or just use this UV plastic container. So as long as you can grow vegetables during the dry season and you get income, you have a more or less stable income along the season. Because in the past, yeah, before we come with the project, farmers cannot do anything during the 4 or 5 dry months. But if they can use the water, yeah, efficiently, they can get something.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And also you mentioned that it's like a stakeholder, how do you call that? Partner, the partnership, that you also did with the other stakeholders like this, the agro dealers, to make it affordable or make it available for the farmers, the inputs that you're recommending to them.
And
Yeah,
those,
just to highlight one point on that, Lisette. Yeah, so the UV plastic, one roll of the plastic is 100 meters. So if a farmer buy, it will be, even the seller will not agree to sell it piece by piece. But if a group of farmer, a group of 15 or a group of 20 buy it all together, they can put it piece by piece. So the 100-meter UV plastic roll can be distributed into the 15 or 20 farmers in the group. So it's very important to work with the group. So that's how also we convince to approach them. Yeah. That simple, approach here.
Community effort, no? Thank you very much, Sir Edwin. I don't have any questions anymore from the other participants. Also on the Facebook page, I don't see anyone asking question. I think it's very clear to our participants. And I hope that, yeah, you can start, or if you haven't apply those techniques yet to your farmers at your location, please try at least if it's also it suits in the context of your area. If you need to know more, please, yeah, you're welcome to contact Sir Edwin via email or via WhatsApp, and we'll see if yeah, let's see if some other countries also will be able to practice those techniques that you've presented, Sir Edwin. Thank you very much. And that's the end of our episode. Do you have any questions you would like to be answered in the future episodes, or topics that you would like to learn more about? Leave your questions or suggestions in the comment section, or contact our Technical Support Hub members in your country. So stay tuned for the next episode of Around the VegTable. Curious about vegetables? Talk to Iswesid. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Doc Edwin.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.